You want to learn some scaling strategies, or you want to know how to make just more money?
More money.
Figured you'd say that. All right, so I'm going to show you the biggest money maker, and that's basically how we instantly went from 20 to 79% conversions.
Okay.
So I'll show you how we did it. But there's a big secret in there that I wrote here, and that's the 4 types of leads that we target and how we get most of them to book calls and buy. Because it's not about just getting a bunch of leads, it's about actually generating sales. Yeah. Okay. So we'll break down all the steps and how we did that.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
You sure we on episode 3? Episode 3? Episode 3? Let's do this, man. Let's do this. What's going on, guys? Vince Reed here. Welcome to episode 3. More leads, faster sales. My name is Vince Reed, founder of EBOOV.com. I'm like a senior citizen in the digital marketing world. For those of you like, who the heck is this guy? You know why I'm a senior citizen? Because I've been running ads and generating leads and helping businesses get more traffic and leads since 2008. That makes me a senior citizen. So we're excited about more leads and faster sales. And our purpose for this show is to go deeper than the surface level information that you typically get online. You know, I've been blessed to have had some success online. I've seen it all, but I've also had a lot of failures, and we spend time really diving deep. But on this episode, I'm excited because we focus on numbers and we share with you how we make money with lead generation, specifically how we went from 20% to 79% conversions, all right? Now, when we're talking about this, I'm usually basing these numbers off of 100 clicks, all right? So, for example, if I have a page that's converting at 20% and I get 100 clicks, okay, on average that means 20 leads would opt in to that page, right? So we don't use a brick wall page, which you hear us talk about a lot. And the brick wall page is just a one-page website with a form. Typically there's a video on there, there's a headline and a subheadline, and people opt in, and typically 20% of people opt in. So we don't use brick wall pages. We drive traffic right to the webinar. Right? We use EBOOVs, in-video conversion technology, and off-platform video retargeting technology, which we talk about in the show, which I'll dive into here on this quick intro as well, to essentially get us to 79%, which means for every 100 clicks we get, 79 people actually opt in to continue watching. Now, the whole premise of this is we're allowing math to work for us, because as you likely know, if you're running traffic, okay, the cost of advertising has gone up. Okay, ad costs have gone up, lead costs have gone up, and conversions have gone down. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that. Okay, some of the reasons are simply these platforms are running out of ad space. There's more advertisers, so you're competing for limited space, which is causing the cost to go up. So if costs are going up and you continue to use a brick wall page that's blocking 80% of your traffic, how is it blocking 80% of your traffic? Because only 20% are going to opt in. 80%, 80 people are going to leave regardless of how good your headline is or your video or your bullet points are on that page. 80 people are simply not going to opt in to see what you have to offer on the next page, all right? So that's why we call it a brick wall page. So for us, we're driving traffic, and 100% of every click gets to the video. Now, because we're able to be extremely clear on the front end, essentially, and then solving the problem once they land, we're seeing 79 people opt in. So that's how we come up with those numbers. Now, this particular podcast, we dive deep into how we turn this, almost over 200% more leads into actual money. Because that's the part that people struggle with, right? Because we've seen people, or I should say I've seen people, get this 20% to even 40% sometimes, but still not make any money. And a lot of that is because people opt into this page out of curiosity, right? They're just guessing, and they'll have crazy headlines on this page, how to make $1 million overnight. Clearly, you're going to get some leads. They're going to be bad quality leads, fake emails, and so on. So one of the things we talk about on the episode is list building, and we talk about 4 different types of leads, all right? Because what most people basically categorize a lead as is an opt-in subscriber, a name and an email, right? The person that actually opts into this page. The way I look at a lead is anyone that's expressed interest. That's how I define a lead. That could be a social media follower. Okay, it could be an opt-in. Okay, but the most important one, the one that we love the most, is a watch time lead. A watch time lead is a person that essentially watches what I believe 15 50% or more of a 2-minute or more or longer video. So for example, if you land on a video that's 2 minutes and that person watches 50% of that video, that'd be 1 minute. To me, I consider that a better lead than even an opt-in subscriber. And then the proof of that is, look at a commercial, right? So we talk about that on this episode. And the most powerful lead is a buyer, all right, is a buyer lead. And we go into detail explaining why. Now, when I'm talking about list building, specifically when I get into what you want to be trying to do is getting at least 100 leads a day and building your list, it could be any of these. It could be 20 followers and 40 opt-ins and another 40 watch time leads and whatever is left over in terms of buyers. And if that equaled 100 and you did that each and every day, you'd be growing your list. But the key to making money is to put offers in front of those leads consistently. Now, one of the things we also talk about a lot is that most people are focused on just getting leads, where we're focused on making offers, and that's how we make money, and we go into a lot of details on that. Now, one of the things I do want to talk about that we talk about on the episode that I wanted to make sure that I was extremely clear on is people see that we're driving traffic right to the webinar, right? So there's our webinar. We have simple headline on there, all of our traffic, 100% of traffic gets there. So someone might say, well, why don't I just put any video there? So you might be using some video hosting platform and people will try to just put any video on this page, but not leverage an EBOOV video. Well, the EBOOV video has superpowers. Number one, we can lock the video within video conversion technology, but more importantly, we can use our OPVR technology, off-platform video retargeting, and build a list, a custom audience on everybody that presses play or based on how long they actually watch the video, and then we can come back and actually run ads to them. All right, so we're actually building a much larger list than 79% because the second they actually press play here, we're building an audience and we put additional ads in front of them. So I just wanted to be clear on that because I know someone would say, well, what's so cool about that? I could just put a regular video there and still do kind of what you guys are doing, but it wouldn't work the same. All right, and lastly, we talk a lot about the Gekko effect, which we've talked about, I believe, a little bit on prior episodes. And that's typically, you understanding how much information you actually have on the end user and how much you can actually create. So, for example, what you put in front of a person before they actually click is important, right? So if I make a video and I share how I lowered my lead cost on my webinar funnel, and someone watches 50% or 75% of that video, I have a lot of information about that person that watched. Because if you're not an entrepreneur and you're not doing that, you're typically not going to sit there and watch 50 to 70% of that video, right? So if I have that information, what I do next, leveraging that information, is the Gekko effect, all right? So that is some of the basics that we cover. We go really deep into this topic. So if you're a person that you've generated leads and you're not making money, or you're struggling, your ad and lead costs are going up and your conversions are down, and you want to go from 20 to 79% conversions, and you want to essentially see your open rates on your emails go up, and you want to be able to make more money, this is definitely the episode for you. Last but not least, if you're getting value from this, make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, enjoy episode 3 of More Leads, Faster Sales. See you there. All right, so today, as I look at my notes, I'm going to show you how to make a lot of money.
Sounds good.
But this is going to be a little complex because I got to shape this
Paint the
a little
picture.
bit. I got to paint the picture.
Okay.
All right, because really the key to us making more money is we're getting 200% more leads. We went from 20% conversions to 79% conversions recently.
Right.
We figured out a really, really big strategic advantage. So I'm going to talk to you about how we're doing that, why it works, but more importantly, the 4 types of leads that we now are consciously focused on. Because sometimes you're not it's not really hitting your subconscious mind. You're doing things, but you're not really understanding what you're doing.
Usually people think they're just one type of lead, but
yeah,
in
so
reality,
I want to really break down, go deep inside the funnel we're using.
Okay.
And why it's really working.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. So this is gonna be interesting and fun. All
Cool,
right.
I'm excited.
So if you're watching this, definitely tune in because this could make you a lot of money. I wish I would have had this information when I started.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what the hardest part of growing a company and doing what we're doing is?
What is it?
I think people could perceive us as taking shots at people.
Oh, like it
So for
in
example,
an industry.
right, we don't use
Okay.
brick wall pages, right?
Yeah.
So what's a brick wall page? So what the heck is a brick wall page? Brick wall page is a one-page website where people have to opt in to see what's on the other side. Sometimes you have a video, there's a play button, you have a headline, a sub-headline. All right? So that's a brick wall page.
Right.
And it's a brick wall page because it blocks 80% of traffic.
Right. Like on average. So
On
then-
average.
so
On
you're
average,
saying-
only 20% of people are going to opt in, right?
Okay.
And in my opinion, this is the biggest problem with people's funnels today, specifically people doing webinar and VSL funnels. It's the brick wall page. So you get some people that are trying to do what we do, which is, by the way, we eliminated that brick wall. We no longer use it. We drive traffic right to our webinar, and we use an EBOOV video here,
Yep.
which we can lock anytime we choose, and then the form will pop up. We can do some B-roll and show it, and then we can capture the lead, and then they can, if they opt in, the video just continues to play. But everybody that lands, 100% of every visitor at least gets to see the webinar,
Right. Okay.
right? So if I'm using
It's kind of like
this,
inverted.
right?
in a way.
So what I mean by taking shots, like a lot of our ads, everything, we're like brick wall pages, get the hell out of here, right? Slapping them and everything.
right.
People think like it's a shot at like for example, my buddy Russell, not knowing that the page we use is a ClickFunnels page, and it's because people think of a brick wall page as the start of a funnel because it is.
Like it has to be set.
Like
that
it
way.
has to be this.
Okay.
And I look at this as just a different variation of a funnel. But I realize that I would much rather have 100% of every click see my webinar, even if it's the first 5 minutes of it or whatever, versus at best 20. And you and I both know that it's never 20 here. Because if I send 100 people here, okay, at best 35% are going to watch, even if the video's on the next page, which is crazy.
You mean from like the 20%?
Right. So let's say I'm using a brick wall funnel
Yeah.
and I drive 100 people here. Only 35% are going to watch the video, even if it's the next step.
Right.
And guess what? In terms of the people that are going to watch it if it's evergreen. So if they're opting into a registration page to a live webinar at a future date, 35% are going to show up live. It's the same. It's just crazy. The same number.
So that's
7
like what-
people
seven-
out of every
seven
out of
people. Okay.
100 people hit, 20 opt in, 7 show up.
Show up.
Okay.
Watch. How many get to the
I mean, 2 to 3% of them are going to buy. So on 100 people, that's 0 sales.
0 sales? Yeah.
All right. That's why you have to send a lot more traffic. And with the cost of ads today, it's ridiculous. So EBOOV, we set out to fix this problem and say, look, there's nothing that anyone can do, you, me, that's going to change the fact that ad costs are going up. I mean, the average cost per click is over $2 now a click. So if you think about the craziness of it, the fact that you're spending over $2 a click knowing that 80 of those clicks are not going to see your webinar or VSL.
Yeah.
So for us to go to this route, we had to truly just believe in the math, believe that EBOOV is a tremendous resource to fix this problem, and say, let's just drive traffic right to our webinar.
Just get 100% of people to watch
And
it.
we believe that we can create a presentation that is fixing the problem so well that when we lock it, people will opt in to continue watching. So that's how we are getting to 79%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, here's the problem, because I want to address the people that are like, okay, that makes sense. And I also want to address, if you're watching this, a person that's like, well, can I just put any video on a page and drive the traffic to it?
Right. I mean, that's a fair
Right?
question. Yeah.
Because that would be an argument. That would be what I would be saying.
Yeah.
So, for example, what I would be thinking is, okay, you eliminated the page, just put any video on there. Why EBOOV video? Well, one, the OPVR technology, being able to retarget every visitor.
Build the
That's
custom
how
audiences.
we're making the money. So the question is,
Yeah.
how are we making more money? If you want to make more money, you have to make more offers. So I want to make this real simple. When I drive traffic, 100% of every click sees at least the first, second of my webinar.
Right.
If someone else is using a webinar or VSL funnel, at best, 80 people never see it.
Yeah.
Not even if Jesus made the webinar. Right?
Well, I mean, that's a big loss.
That's a big loss.
It's a big loss.
So how are we making money from this? One, the webinar has to be good. It has to truly solve the problem.
Right.
Because most people aren't going to switch from this to this because this feels too good to them in the short term to switch to this. And let me explain. What will happen is most people's webinars and VSLs aren't very good. So you go from getting 20 to 30 leads a day. So now all of a sudden you drive traffic right to the video and it doesn't convert, meaning people don't opt in to continue watching. That dopamine hit of that win that they felt that they were getting, even though they weren't making any sales, is gone. So now they're like, I'm really a failure. Because now I'm sending people to the webinar. The viewer clearly doesn't like it. At least before I was getting leads.
But they get faster feedback if they're just sending it, for example, to the EBOOV video.
Right, but you know, we talk about this in the office all the time. Delayed gratification.
Right, yeah.
Even though they're literally eliminating the real gratification that they want, which is money, by using that, they think they're winning by getting the lead right away. So when they send it to the webinar, right, and it doesn't work, it's like, oh my gosh, like this sucks. So for us, two things happening. So for those of you watching, how are we making money on this? Because just so you know, how are we getting 79% conversions? We're getting 79% of the people that land on our webinar to opt in to continue watching.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to get into all the technicalities of EBOOV. Like we can retarget. We actually are getting 100% of every click to become a lead because of the retargeting technology, but I don't want to focus on that in this video. We can do that on another one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's just focus on the 79% in terms of the leads and how we're making more money on those.
Cool.
It's really two things: what we're saying and doing before they watch the webinar and what we're doing after. So let's start with what we're doing before.
Okay.
So number one, it's finding your true product market fit. Like, who is your customer? Before they even land on the webinar, we have ads that are warming up our potential prospects. So when they land there, they understand the problem. And then when they get to the webinar, they're like, great, I didn't have to opt in. This is the problem I had, and they're showing me how to fix it. So they're like right into like the solution.
Yeah.
Right? But it started with what I said before they got there. So if anyone's watching this, I challenge you to go to like maybe the Facebook ads library or go to even the YouTube or Google ads library, which you can see all the ads everybody's running and just see our messaging, right? We're just straight up like, hey, stop using a brick wall page. You're losing 80% of traffic.
It's straight to the point.
Right. I could just be straight to the point. I mean, if you look at everyone else's ads, it's like, you know, it's trying to, you got to be like a detective to figure out what they're selling on the next page. And then you figure it, you click, and then now it's the brick wall. And it's like, so by the time the client gets to the next step, they're confused. They don't even know what you're selling.
So why are they doing that? Is just so they can get the click?
Because they're like, hey, I just need to get the click. And then they're like, how enticing can I be on the brick wall page to just get the lead? Right? But now you just created more problems for yourself. Because now you got all these leads that aren't watching your video.
Yeah.
That aren't opening up your emails. And now what are you doing? Changing your offer, like the guy we had on the call today. I'm going to change a new offer. Said he was getting 300 people to the live webinar. I'm like, well, why aren't you making more sales? Well, I'm going to change my offer. Clearly there's a problem. Right, that he just can't see because he's conditioned to do the funnel in the way that everybody else is doing it and not looking at the real problem, which is not enough people are seeing what he has to sell. Yeah. And if you send 100 people to the webinar and you're not getting leads, then you know the problem immediately.
Yeah, that's true.
So the two-part process of how we're turning this, 79% of our clicks into leads is what we're saying on the front end and how we're keeping offers in front of every lead.
Okay, so when you say offers, can you explain that? What do you mean
it's a great
specifically
question.
by offers?
So for us, the first offer that we make is to get someone on a group demo, on a call with us, right? So when like a person in this funnel.
You mean like for example, book a call.
To book a call, right. So in the brick wall funnel, the objective for most people is to get a lead, right, first. Yep. And then they rarely run any traffic to get people to watch the webinar again. It's more just getting them to register for the webinar.
Just right then and there, not staying in front of them.
Right. Okay. Our focus is being clearer on the problem on the front end. And then once they become a lead and opt in to continue watching, we continue to put offers to book or demo or to, speak to us in front of every lead.
Right. Okay.
That's our focus, whereas their focus is getting 80 people to click on a page and click off.
Well, isn't there a way right now that they can still kind of retarget individuals that hop on, let's say like their brick wall page, for example?
Yeah, well, you're talking about just retarget the 80. That's the biggest argument we get. Well, can't I just retarget? Well, technically, right now, if people accept cookies, you can retarget them. But why would you want to think about the logic of that thought, right? And let's just take out the fact that cookies are going away. Well, you won't be able to do that.
Like they'll be completely gone.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to retarget that way in the future.
Oh, okay.
But let's just say you can.
Okay.
Let's even go as real ridiculous with it, and let's say you could retarget 100% of every person that clicks.
Okay.
Which you can't, but let's just say you could.
Just for this example.
Think about what that's actually saying. You're saying, I want to spend $2 a click to get 100 people here, just so I can spend more money to get people here again to get 20% and pay for the 80% of the click again.
When your main goal is to get people to watch your webinar.
These people don't know what's on the on the other page, and the main goal was to get them to watch this.
Is that why they kind of like opt in out of like curiosity?
Well, I mean,
or like they put like a fake email.
I mean, I can't really. Logic would say that's why people put a fake email, because they're sick of opt-in. They're sick of brick wall pages. They don't know what's on the other side. So for us, we get 50, 60% open rates on our emails because they land on the webinar. They actually want to continue watching, and we're getting better quality leads and happier clients because they get to see what the solution is to their problem. Right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's how we're turning the leads into more money. All right? But I want to make sure I address something really important, and that's the list building aspect of business, because it's something that like most people just aren't talking about in digital marketing anymore. Like when I came in, it was all about list building, right? So to keep it simple, let's just say you're generating 100 leads a day. Okay. Right? And let's keep the math really simple. Let's just say it's $1 a lead. Okay. So you would get 100 leads. Actually, let me reverse that. Let's say you're getting 100 leads a month.
Okay, a month.
Because it'll get crazy.
Okay, just keep it simple.
Wait, do I want to do 100 leads a month or 100 leads a day? Let me think about this. Let's do 100 leads a day.
Okay, 100 leads a day.
Because I want them to see it from a big perspective.
Sure.
You get 100 leads a day, and let's just say it's $1 a lead. So over 30 days, that'd be 3,000 leads. Okay, you would have spent $3,000. Right. $1 a lead, right? Month 2, same thing. 100 leads a day, $1 a lead, you would have spent $3,000, got another 3,000 leads that month. Right. Now you've got 6,000 leads. Now granted, we're just saying people didn't opt out or whatever. Yeah. But your list grew, but you still spent 3,000. Right. All right. Now, the way you want to look at your list in your leads is that your leads have a lifetime value of $1 per month. So now we're in month 2. We spent $3,000 in both months. We have 6,000 leads. Okay, we should be making at minimum $6,000 a month if the value of every lead is $1. Right. So now you go to month 3. Spend $3,000. You get another 3,000 leads. Now you have 9,000 leads. Yep. The value of your list is now $9,000, but you still spent $3,000. And just imagine this process
it's just
over
building
a year,
on top of each other.
Right. So in 12 months, you now have a list of 36,000 people. The way most people think about that is, one, they don't understand the value of their asset. And they're not thinking, how do I create a list that are full of my ideal customer? And more importantly, how do I put my offer in front of them? Meaning, how do I create a process where every single day the lead is seeing something like this? Hey, remember you had this problem? It's costing you this. My thing is the solution. Book a call here to fix it, or buy this thing to fix it. That's an offer. I see. How many people are saying, how do I build a list that's growing and consistently create a process that's putting an offer in front of them? So we're making more money because when the person sees the ad, they're not going to click unless they have that problem. So now they click and they're just taken to the webinar immediately. Right. They opt in to continue watching. And now our ads that we run to every lead is basically making more offers, right? Now, if I'm watching this, the question is, okay, well, leads are expensive. And that would go back to what we were talking about earlier. It's how you define a lead in your mind. I define a lead as a person that's expressed interest. Right. So it could be a social media follower. It could be an opt-in subscriber. But my favorite lead is a watch time lead. And a watch time lead I define as a person that's watched 50% or more of a 2-minute or longer video.
Okay.
And I came up with this definition just looking at commercials.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So, for example, the Super Bowl.
Right.
Kanye spent his $7 million on the Super Bowl ad, right?
Yeah.
Hey y'all, this Ye, and this is my commercial. And since we spent all the money on the commercial spot, we actually didn't spend any money on the actual commercial. But the idea is I want you to go to Yeezy.com, YEEZY.com, and I'm gonna write it at the bottom of the screen, and I got some shoes, and that's it.
And it was like a simple ad too.
Simple ad. And he spent like $0 on the production.
Right.
But this will give you an example of why I believe watch time is so important, right? So if Kanye's willing to pay $7 million on a Super Bowl ad, and we can run ads and target our ideal client with the right message and send them right to the video, and we have software that builds a retargeting list of everybody that presses play, even if they don't opt in to continue watching.
Right.
And our pop, let's say it's 5 to 7 minutes into the video, which is well longer than a 30-second commercial.
Yep.
Okay? I'm building a list and getting a lead whether they opt in or not.
So you can stay in front of them.
Right. So we're talking about the 79% that opt in. Yes, I
Like
put ads in
name,
front of
email,
them
of course,
to book
yeah.
a call with our team,
Yeah.
buy our product. But the people that press play, I put an ad in front of them to watch the webinar and to watch the entire thing. So I'm constantly putting my leads, whether they opted in or not, in front of an offer. That's all I'm focused on. That's why we're making more money.
Yeah.
All right? So you've got email lists as a lead.
Opt-in subscribers.
You've got the watch time leads. We talked about social media. So those are 3 different types of lead types. Social media followers, subscribers. Okay, I call that a level 1 lead. Opt-in subscriber, that's a level 2. Watch time lead is a level 3. And then the best lead you can get is a buyer leads,
Okay.
right? It's essentially where Jeff Bezos lives on Amazon, right? They don't have to go find new buyers. They can just target the people that already bought from the site. That's like very difficult to be at.
Would you say that's like
but
the best
that's like the ultimate goal.
Yeah, ultimate.
Right?
Goal. Okay.
Is to be able to literally just market to your existing customers, and that's always going to be the best lead. Right? So we are, as a company, and when I say we here at EBOOV are focused on those 4, but more specifically, the level 3 type of lead, which is the watch time lead. All right? Now, if you go back to our process, to what they see in the beginning, whether that's an ad that's clearly identifying the problem,
Right.
watch time leads happen there. They land on our webinar, they press play, we start building the audience, watch time leads start there. They opt in, we now get a level 2 lead. They keep watching, more watch time. They buy, they become a level 4.
Yeah. So that's why as they get on those calls, they're fully informed and they understand, what we're offering and what they're getting.
Exactly. So going full circle, many talks, I talk about Wall Street, the Gekko effect.
Yeah.
Right? And I come back to it because it's really easy to lose focus. And what I mean by that is the guy who was on the call today that have said he had 300 people, right? And I think he said like less than 10% were buying. I don't know. No, he said 30%, or he said 300 were on, and then he said 30%
Would be like
were like interested or qualified.
Yeah.
And he said of the 30, 10 were buying. So that was like 3 people. Now think about how terrible that actually is.
Yeah.
If you have 300 people and only 3 at the end would even be ready to buy, that means there's a problem on the front end. So going back to the Gekko effect, Gordon Gekko, the movie Wall Street, the original Wall Street, made millions of dollars. You've heard me say it before because he had inside information.
Yeah.
Right? He knew stuff about a company. He could make a trade, make money off of that.
Right.
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah.
As advertisers and business owners, we have information that we don't leverage correctly. So the only way that's happening to him is that he's not saying the right things in the beginning
You mean with like his ads?
of his ad. There's too much curiosity. They're opting in and registering for the webinar out of curiosity. And then they're getting on, and it's not solving the problem. For you to get 300 people on something that and he said it, not us, 30% were actually qualified.
Yeah.
right?
And he was saying he was doing like a live webinar. So is that like, if someone's like doing a live webinar, like how would they kind of like,
I mean, I think
what's the easiest way for
I
them
think
to
at the end of the day, do you care whether it's live or evergreen? What's the main point? Like, what should you care about as the business owner? You know why people like live? Because they feel like they can better sell the person in.
like they have more control?
Right. But they're dealing with such a small percentage of the people that would have clicked to even get to the live. Like, you have to think differently as a business owner. Like, if I had the solution and 100% of every click was getting there because they needed that solution, wouldn't I just want them in front of my thing?
Yeah.
Like, why would the reason they want control is because they know it's bad already. Like, they're like, I got to get there because I got to do something to get on their live to be able to like make this sale.
Got it. Okay.
Right now, I'm not saying you can't have live webinars.
Sure.
Right. But for me, you have to believe in the math of it all. Like, I'm sorry, 100% is going to beat 7 every single time if the video is solving the problem.
Right. Like you were saying, yeah, I remember you were saying before, you know, like out of that 80% that never opted in, I mean, do you think there would be people that would have bought? Right.
Simple as that. Yeah. And then there's the residual effect, which we can do a whole nother video on. I mean, we were looking at the stats today. I mean, our website conversions, what was it? It was 70% as well. I wish I could pull it up and prove it right now.
Yeah, I think you said 75.
75% of the traffic that goes to our website are converting into leads. That means they're seeing our information and then let me go check this out,
Maybe
going to the website and still opting in.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what you want. Right? You don't want to have to trick the person in.
Exactly.
And then it's actually creating way more work. All right? So in summarizing all of this, how we went from 20 to 79%, we eliminated steps. Yeah. Okay, we got rid of the brick wall page. We got clearer on our messaging out front. We used the Gekko effect. Right? So for example, if you're running ads, I know because I run ads, and if you run ads, you know ad costs, lead costs are going up and conversions are down.
Yep.
So I can, with confidence, say that, and there's stats and articles and everything to prove it.
Yep.
That's a problem. Click on this link, watch the webinar, we'll fix it. They go right to the webinar. We fix it.
Yeah. Straightforward.
They watch. Some of them opt in to continue watching. Some of them don't. But we get a watch time lead. So now what's our main focus? To get more people to that webinar who
make more offers.
Make more offers. Yeah. And then the people that become leads, what's our focus? Make more offers. Our focus isn't fixing a headline on a brick wall page. Right. Our focus isn't like, changing the price point. Because this is what people do. They go, okay, I'm using the brick wall page. Like the guy, they got 300 people or whatever, and only 3 would buy. His focus is, well, maybe I need to raise the price. Because he knows he's dealing with a limited people on there, so I got to make more on the people that do show. Like, you're focused on the wrong thing. The focus should be, how do I actually get more people in front of the solution? And the way to do it is to just get rid of the brick wall and let them see it.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's simple, but
it's almost too simple. People don't believe.
Like, it's too good.
It's too. I think it's too, which is ridiculous, because you're literally doing the same thing but making it harder for yourself. Yeah. By sending them to a brick wall only to have 35% wall. Right. It's to say you're just getting rid of that brick wall and letting them see it. So now it's like, hey, you better create a good presentation. You better have a good problem to solve. Because if ad costs continue to go up like it has, I just truly believe that funnel, it's going to be virtually impossible to make it work without continuing to raise prices just through the roof. Yeah. People are getting sick of all these crazy offers just so that advertiser can afford to put more in the ads. So that's how we went from 20 to 79% and why we're making more money.